even with this funeral mass and with his request to be buried at St. Mary Major, that is what he's doing. He's being close to the people, and you know, it's not a coincidence that he's been dubbed the Pope of the Peripheries. And for those of you who are following, you can see that the Pope's coffin is now departing Casa Santa Marta, his home for the last 12 years, and leaving the Vatican, and the procession to St. Mary Major is beginning.
Yes, it's almost like a Pope-mobile, open, white. It's actually a hearse, I think we can call it correctly a hearse. There is no procession behind it. We've been told that the indications are that it will drive at about 10 kilometers per hour, so it should take about half an hour to reach St. Mary Major. Perhaps for security reasons, people have been asked not to walk behind it, but they will definitely be lining the streets.
And we've seen some of the images of the entirety of the route that you described earlier. Thousands and thousands of people have taken to the streets to say goodbye for the last time, and of course everyone will be able to visit St. Mary Major and visit Pope Francis's tomb, but this really is, you know, the day that we are dedicating to him to say goodbye. And Rome, and not only Rome, the faithful have really come out for that.
Very symbolically also, we know that a group of mostly poor people who are assisted by charities will be at St. Mary Major to welcome him to his final resting place. The Pope of the Peripheries, the Pope of the people, is very aptly receiving his last embrace from those whom he loved the most, the smallest, the weakest, the last in society.
We see the whole entourage since this morning. So while many were crowded into St. Peter's Square, which had at least around 50,000 until they had to kind of close it off due to the numbers, and then so many hundreds of 150,000 others.
You can hear the applause as he makes his way down.
You were saying, Francesca, the Vatican Gardens, which he probably walked. I thought it very beautiful that in the Vrogito, the last act, which they placed in his coffin, there was a summary of his life and of who he was and of his pontificate. And in particular, he was described as a simple...
They were meeting a normal person and traveling, and he really traveled the world. His penultimate trip, which you were on, and he really went to
to visit the smallest Catholic flock in the world, 1,500 Catholics of the entire Mongolian population.
Are off the grid. We barely even hear of them. And another gesture that the people who were suffering the most, I think, is one of the greatest legacies that he could be leaving behind.
And it's really fitting that the people who will welcome him and say their goodbye.
He's passing here from some very symbolic places.
Indeed, and he's just, as you mentioned, crossed over the river. It's particularly poignant and touching that, again, he'll be welcomed by the people he's always reminded us not to forget, the ones who...
on Easter Sunday, he dedicated his words, his Urbi et Orbi blessing, which someone else read for him, but he dedicated it to the people suffering war, and he has always been a voice for the people in countries where everything is being destroyed by arms. Pope Francis has been #1 advocate for disarmament. He's been the #1 advocate for solutions to be reached, for diplomatic talks to take place. He has reiterated every time he made an appeal that war is a defeat. It's become a slogan.
You have read so often for him at the general audience, which was always an
And that stage, which before saw only men, only consecrated men, saw people from all over the world, all different ages, all kinds of different accents, and it really represents the people in the square to whom you are transmitting the Pope's message.
It's going to be a private ceremony there, so we're actually seeing the Basilica right now.
He's almost there.
He is very close,
very
yeah.
close.
Oh, here he comes now.
Here he is.
The images are being shown. And it's almost difficult to know what to say.
I think most people can see and watch, but many people are also perhaps following on radio. Yes, it is very solemn, it's very sad.
At the same time, it's a celebration of his life and ministry, and it's particularly poignant in this Jubilee of Hope as well, that he inaugurated, that he opened. And so I think, I would imagine that would be the, and of course it is the key theme as well that we celebrate in a very special way at Easter at this time, a time of hope, of birth, new life, life in a new and transformed way. And so I think all today has been a wonderful tribute to Pope Francis and his ministry. And there we see the icon Salus Populi Romani. It's a panel made of cedar linked to the identity of Rome and the popes. And as we saw with Pope Francis, he had that special dedication to Our Lady in this icon of Rome.
He visited the Basilica just recently during his convalescence at Casa Santa Marta after he was discharged from the It truly is a simple coffin. It has a very simple cross engraved in it, a tiny coat of arms, and the seal of the Holy See.
I think it's being shown to the crowd, who, as you can hear, have applauded, and it's our final goodbye now.
Yep.
Before it's taken in procession into the Basilica.
The Swiss Guards leading the procession.
Always present for the Pope's protection in every moment.
We're hearing the Sistine Chapel Choir there accompany us as the coffin is being brought in procession into the Basilica, going through the atrium now and now into the Basilica to be brought before the icon of the Salus Populi Romani, before being placed in the tomb that has been prepared. It's a simple tomb bearing only the inscription. There we see the coffin before the Pauline Chapel, where the icon of Salus Populi Romani is found. And we have some children who are bringing a homage to the altar there, above which is the icon of Mary. Recalling the flowers Pope Francis would bring in homage when he would go there to pray before an apostolic journey, or to give thanks, or to for special prayers in his many visits there.